Toronto if you love me, please get loud. I said, please get loud. I said, please get loud. Look at my city, I'm so proud. I'll make it very.
Well, he's 26, he's from Toronto. He's eloquent, thoughtful, and he's got a massive hit record. Drake, good to have you here. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations on this new baby of yours that's getting critical acclaim. There's a fluidity on this record, a continuation of your style, of what you do between the rapping and the singing.
Mm-hmm.
And many people have made the case that didn't really exist in the norm, at least at a major level, before you. Has that become the norm for you?
I think that with this particular album, what I tried to do was find the perfect balance between rapping and melody. I love melody. I sing. That's what I do. I've been very open about that, you know. I caught a lot of scrutiny on the last record because there were distinct singing moments. There were borderline ballad moments.
It's my birthday, I get high if I want to. Can't deny that I want you, but I lie if I have to. Cause you don't say you love me to your friends when they ask you. Even though we both know that you do.
What I tried to do with this album was blur the lines so that even when I am singing, it just doesn't feel like singing. And even when I'm rapping, the cadences are almost melodic to the point that they stick in your head.
Got my eyes on you. You're everything that I see. I want your high love and emotion endlessly.
I do make music that makes you feel something, but I'm so sick of people saying that I'm like lonely and emotional and like associating me with this like longing for a woman or
sad guy.
Yeah, I hate that, man. It bothers me so much because my life is constantly exciting. It's not some sad, depressing story. So as far as the soundscapes go, that's just the music that I choose to make, man. I make my music strictly for the purpose of like driving at nighttime. You know, I mean, I would be looking at this city, and if the music matched that scenery, then I was like, it was right for me, and I still do that.
There's no need for us to rush this through.
Johansson, Drake, and I.
Staying true to his sound, Drake released the highly anticipated new album, Nothing Was the Same. It immediately struck a chord with critics.
Gosh, we love this guy. Please welcome Drake!
Done saying I'm done playing. Last time it's on the outro. Stuck in the house, need to get out more. I've been stacking up like I'm fundraising. Most people in my position get complacent. Come places with star girls. End up on them front pages. I'm quiet with it, I just ride with it.
You said this is a more aggressive record. Some people talk about the confrontational lyrics.
That's just kind of the nature of rap and hip hop music. People have to understand that, you know, it's a very unique genre in that regard. That
confrontation is inherent in the art form?
I believe so, yeah. Competition is inherent in the art form. Confrontation just kind of comes with the territory.
Is that still something in the rap world and the hip hop world? The idea that you need to be hood, is that some sort of still some sort of status?
There's always going to be an appeal there, as far as, you know, listening to people rap about you know, killings and drugs and all that stuff. I'm always like, when I'm writing a rap, I'm like, man, if I could just throw a gun bar in here, this thing would be done. Sometimes it's just such an easy scapegoat. Like, right. You know, I can't rap about that because I'm not gonna step out of my character just to finish a record.
What about the flip side to the aggression? I mean, on this record, you've been credited, Drake, as you know, with opening up the range of what rappers talk about in mainstream rap especially. How did you resist adopting a harder posture in the beginning when that was the norm?
I came in at the perfect time for myself, which was I didn't need to be something I wasn't, and I made a commitment very early on to just be myself.
And influence a generation that's lacking in patience. I've been dealing with my dad speaking of lack of patience. Just me and my old man getting back to basics. We've been talking about the future and time that we wasted.
I want to talk more about this new record, but first take us back and where this all comes from, where music came from. Your father's a musician. Mm-hmm. He's talked about having you on his lap and playing piano with you when you were a kid. Do you remember those times?
Yeah, I remember a lot of the early times from pictures, obviously, but there's definitely photographic evidence of my father, you know, having me around music. And there's pictures of me performing with like a band when I'm like really, really young. My dad used to gig around the city, and eventually he integrated me in his act. Like, so I would come up and sing this song, Ride, Sally, Ride.
Like Mustang Sally?
Mustang
Ride,
Sally, yeah.
Sally,
yeah,
ride.
yeah.
There's a great story how you get seduced into rap. I mean, your father had some run-ins with the law and actually did a stint in prison when you were a kid. And I read somewhere that part of your tutelage in rap came from a rapper who called himself Poverty, who was a cellmate of your father's.
Yeah.
Tell me that story.
He didn't have anybody to call, you know, he didn't have any like family or anybody to speak to. So my dad used to share his phone time with this guy, and this guy used to rap. So he used to read me his raps over the phone, and I told him, you know, I rap too. So it got to the point where I'd be like, yeah, Dad, all right, cool, where's he at? I gotta do raps to spit for him or whatever. So we used to kind of use the remainder of my dad's phone time and just rap until it cut off.
It's kind of a beautiful story.
I never knew his real name or anything, but yeah, he definitely gets a lot of credit in those early years.
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Boys,
Born to a white Jewish mom, Drake spent much of his early years growing up in Toronto, a place he still proudly calls home.
And what did Toronto represent for you at the time? I mean, you grew up in a fairly white neighborhood. You're this biracial kid. Did you fit in?
I didn't grow up in a white neighborhood. I grew up on Weston Road, and I only moved to Forest Hill because my mother is an incredible woman who was willing to live far beyond her means for the sake of her family. We rented someone's basement and the first floor. I didn't have some mansion. I wasn't, you know, I grew up with a mother that was deep in debt because she wanted the best for her family. So being biracial was obviously tougher in Forest Hill than it was, you know, in the west end of the city. But I sort of made friends as I could, you know, and I had a tough time, definitely had a tough time.
Like there's a paradox that emerges when it comes to you, the two personalities of Drake, right? There's this confident guy who wants to be number one, and then there's the vulnerable, emotive guy who almost converge on insecure at times. Do you see that paradox in yourself?
It's just that a lot of people will only show you the confident side, especially in music, because the vulnerable side is like, they don't want to go there. You know, I'm okay with going there. That to me is supreme confidence.
Nicely said. So you decide to take this music path, and you know, in the bigger scope of things, it doesn't take that long before you blow up in the United States. But what was the response you get as a Canadian black Jewish rapper trying to get attention in the U.S.?
I think the details of my like background kind of came afterwards. I think what caught first was the music. And I always say, I wouldn't have it any other way, man, because I truly don't know if I'd be here if I didn't have so much to potentially overcome as some people may look at it. I mean, to me,
you don't look at it that way.
Yeah, I never looked at it as overcoming anything. I was just like, man, I just got to be a good rapper. But you know, to a lot of other people, they were like, wait, what? You're Canadian, you're Jewish, and you're half, you know, it's just like mind-blowing things to them.
Please welcome home Toronto's own and your host this evening. Give it up for Drake!
In 2011, Drake was invited to host the Juno Awards. It was the first time a Canadian rapper was given the opportunity, and a large audience was watching in the arena in Toronto and across the land on television. Drake was on top of the world for a while.
With all these incredible people here, I'm truly honored that you're letting hip-hop take control of the evening.
In 2011, you hosted the Juno Awards.
Yeah.
You were great.
Thanks.
You killed as the host. You had 6 nominations.
Yeah.
You didn't win one.
Yeah.
Not one.
Yeah.
How did moments like that feel?
That was a tough night for me, just because I put in a lot of work, you know, and I didn't understand it really. I thought, like, at least in the rap category, I gotta have this clinched, if not anything. But I mean, I can't speak for the Junos. I don't know why they did that, you know. Did I respect it? No, not really, you know. But those are things I'm able to let go. Like I'm not in it for like medal trophies that I could put up like on some shelf. That's not like why I'm doing it, you know.
It feels to a certain extent like Canada came late to the party. Do you feel that way? When it comes to Drake?
No, I would say that it took U.S. acceptance to create Canadian pride.
I know what it is.
Earlier this year, Drake took home a coveted Grammy Award for Best Rap Album.
Oh my God. Like the greatest part. I had to have a little drink out of this. Oh my God.
For many artists, that would be the true measure of success.
I want the money, money in the cars, cars in the clothes. I suppose I just wanna be successful.
I want the money and the cars, the clothes and the hoes. I just want to be successful. Is that still your definition of success?
That was just the naive young man's definition of, you know, like starry-eyed success at
Do
that
you
time.
feel like you are successful?
Yes, I do. I always want more.
But dude, you said you wanted to have $25 million by the time you're 25. You did that. Now you say you want $250 million by the time you're 29. I mean, this is, given the modest way you grew up, what does money mean to you?
Well, I think less than the dollar value, it's just more about the idea of growth and business mindset too. You know, 25 million at the time seemed crazy to me, but when you start becoming a headlining touring act and, you know, brands want to get involved with you and you can go do private events and whatnot, it's, you know, you're capable of making it. And now I want to, you know, for sure, obviously keep touring, keep making music, but now I want to do something that has maybe nothing to do with music.
Why do you care so much about success? Have you figured that out?
I'm just addicted to it.
Why?
I think that I've sacrificed so much for it already and dedicated so much of my time that I have to push it as far as I possibly can.
I interview a lot of artists who will say, and I'll say, what is the dream here? What do you know, it's like, I just want to be able to play music, make a living. You know, it's just about the art.
Yeah.
I mean, whether they're being duplicitous or not in the answer, they don't publicly say, I want to be number one, especially
Right.
Canadian musicians.
Right.
You're not afraid to say that. Tell me why.
Well, I don't want to be number two. I think that would be a weird thing to sit here and say, or I don't care, you know, I like to say I just want to win.
If the career of Drake one day is a book, a full career in a book, what chapter are we in?
Oh man, how many chapters are there?
Let's say there's 10 chapters.
We'd be chapter 4. Yeah, chapter 4.
What's the chapter called?
Nothing was the same.
It's great to have you here, man.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
a lot.
you so much
man.
for doing this.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.